Hello, sweet souls. Happy Thursday. It is July 28th, and this is going to be something different that I do. This will be a discussion that I'm going to post. Most of it will be on YouTube, but I'm going to post the beginning portion on TikTok. This discussion is to help people to heal from betrayal. So this is going to be titled Ground Zero. So this is going to trigger a lot of people, especially if it's just happened. So it is in the acute phase. Because I am going to break down your thoughts, your feelings, what happened, why it happened, how you reacted, because it's something that needs to be discussed. So my spirit guides have been on me it's time to talk about it, they said. So I'm hoping that whoever has gone through a betrayal can gain wisdom and healing from this discussion. There will be multiple parts, not all in the same day. My spirit team will dictate when I post the second and third and so on to this healing from betrayal discussion. So I first want to say, as a disclaimer, I am not a psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, or a medical doctor. The wisdom that I have gained is through spiritual wisdom over the last several years and working with thousands of clients all over the world. So, I'm setting the intention that this will help with healing for those that have been through the trauma of betrayal. So, we're going to call on St. Michael. St. Michael, please return to sender anyone sending ill will through thought, word, or action toward myself or the viewer. And I have asked the Holy Spirit, angels, and saints to give us a clear and concise message, truth and clarity on the discussion of healing from betrayal. So, if you're not ready to hear it, just please scroll on and come back when you are ready. Okay? So, I'm going to start. I did take notes. We'll see how they want it to go down or play out. So, I'm calling it Ground Zero. So the first thing is, anyone that has been betrayed, whether this is by a friend, a family member, a coworker, whatever the betrayal is, it's painful. Of course it's painful. But the most painful betrayal happens when it's from someone you were in a committed relationship with or a marriage. Because this is someone you gave your mind, your heart, your soul, your body, your ultimate trust. You trusted this person with everything, and they betrayed you. So it's very traumatic for anyone to endure a betrayal in a relationship where there was a long-term bond or commitment, a marriage. What I have found that what magnifies that trauma is when you are codependent. And what I've found with most of my clients, and I've had thousands, is that's the case. Not every client is codependent, but 90+% of the time they are codependent. And this magnifies the trauma. It completely just adds so much pain to that trauma. So codependency, when you're codependent, you are giving away your power to, in this case, your love interest, your partner. You're giving away complete and utter power. You're dependent on that other person to validate everything in your life, every aspect of who you are, what you are, your value, your worth, your confidence. Are you thin enough? Are you pretty enough or handsome enough? Are you smart enough? They become the source of your identity. And for many of you, you've been in this pattern, this cycle of codependency for so long, you don't even recognize it. You don't even notice it while it's happening. So when you give them your power, you are relying on them to dictate your day-to-day life, your happiness, whether you're happy, whether you're joyful, whether you're sad. Your emotion is dependent on another human being because you have given them every ounce of your power, your identity. They dictate what you feel and what you believe. And you lose yourself because everything is contingent upon what they believe about you. So what happens next when this betrayal occurs and you are codependent? What typically happens next in that situation is, well, first I want to tell you that betrayal occurs for a divine purpose. You know, God stepped in and made the truth of this person's true character undeniable for multiple reasons, and I will address it in a little bit. But what occurs next is, for the codependent energy, is despair. Complete and utter despair. Becoming desperate. Begging, pleading, crying for the perpetrator to work with you, to love you again. So this pain that you've experienced is like no other pain. There is no physical pain that will compare to this pain. It's life-altering, it's earth-shattering, it's agonizing pain. It's not only the pain of someone that you loved betraying you, lying, cheating, stealing, whatever, could be all or a few, but this is a person who you have given your total power to, your life purpose, your true soul essence. And so now it's not just about losing a relationship due to betrayal, it's much bigger, because you feel like your life is over, because this person owns you spiritually, physically, and emotionally. They own you, and all that you are is destroyed. Your life itself, you're abandoned and left for dead. And this is the emotions that you go through during this phase, during this despair and desperation to regain validation from this person. So now, when the begging and pleading doesn't work, you're left alone and completely destroyed. No physical pain, like I said, compares to the pain of this experience for someone that's codependent. You are literally alone in isolation and in the most unbearable, tortured state. A state that, unless you've experienced it, you cannot relate to it. So we're coming up on 10 minutes, guys. You're going to have to go to YouTube to watch the full part of this discussion, okay? So now I want to go back to why God permitted this to happen, okay? First, God not only did he permit it, he ensured that it would happen. For many of you, you're true empaths. You've spent your whole life loving, overgiving in order to feel worthy of love. So God has seen everything that has happened in your life, and everything that has happened in the perpetrator's life, and everything that the perpetrator did behind your back. God saw everything. And this is a situation that would no longer be tolerated by God. So he needed to show you undeniable truth to separate you for many reasons. First, he was forcing you to stand alone. Because let's face it, as codependent, you've always been emotionally dependent on another. You have never stood alone in an independent state, self-sufficient. You've always been attached, reliant on emotional energy to feed your validation. Second, he forced you to face your fears of being alone and to heal from codependency. Now, going back to what happens when you're begging and you're crying and you're pleading with this person that you trusted with all your heart, that you gave your all to that relationship. You spent years, for some of you, building on this relationship, loving with all that you had to this person. And now you're in this despair and desperation to try to regain that love and validation from this person who completely destroyed and wrecked your life. Because to you, you are surely going to die. And that's what it feels like. You will die. There's nothing left. Your identity is destroyed. the person that you gave all of your mind, heart, body, and soul to has thrown it away for another. And you are left abandoned, rejected, and utterly alone. So what happens next? Your brain, this is so traumatic for a human mind, that your brain will search for a way to numb it. It's too tragic. It's too agonizing to live in it every second of every moment of every day. You can't deal with it. So for many of you, this is a period where your mind, out of self-defense, will seek something to numb the pain, whether this is a substance, whether it's food, overeating, whatever it is that your mind gravitates toward to try to numb what is so unbearable that you feel you will surely die from this suffering. It's a human response. Don't judge yourself. If it's happened, please don't judge yourself. Because when people go through trauma, it is PTSD, by the way, it is post-traumatic stress disorder, because the stress and the anxiety and the trauma that you have endured is life-altering, and it feels like you will die. So it triggers every bit of horrible sadness and despair inside of you to the point where you can't escape it. The only emotion, you're an empty shell walking around, the only emotion you can feel is pain and suffering. So don't judge yourself if you turned to drugs, to alcohol, to overeating, whatever that you did, okay? Don't judge yourself. But I will tell you, if you can resist that temptation, it's going to help you in the long run. And I'll tell you why. Because numbing the pain is only going to prolong your suffering and delay your healing. And it's easy to say, don't do it, but I'm here to tell you it will definitely prolong your healing, prolong your suffering and delay your healing. It will. So, the next thing that needs to happen when you are able to take care of your base needs, I'm talking you're able to eat, drink water, you're able to get some sort of sleep, because let's face it, you haven't been sleeping, you haven't been eating, you're having mini nervous breakdowns or full out nervous breakdowns. What needs to happen next? You need to go back to when this pattern of codependency began for you, because this is a cycle that has repeated, typically from childhood. And typically, codependency begins when you're a child in a situation where you felt there was either a lack of love, there was neglect, there was a lack of validation from within you that you were worthy. So also, again, the human mind, as a self-protective mechanism, will overcompensate. So you will begin to, if everyone around you gives 100%, you are going to give 150%, because you have to prove to everyone in the world, I am worthy. I'm going to show through action how worthy I am, that I am valuable, that I'm worth loving. So this becomes a repeat pattern. This becomes your new programming for life. And this repeats over and over and over again. Now, for many of you, you will need to go to professional counseling to work through the childhood wound of codependency and where it originated from. For some of you, it could be a spiritual counselor, it could just be a regular counselor. For some of you, you can do meditation on childhood healing, childhood wound healing. You can go back to that age where you can pinpoint it began and love that version of yourself. Communicate with that version of yourself. Give that child the love that you did not receive, and work on reprogramming your mind. Okay? The reason it's so important for you to heal from codependency ASAP is because once you have healed that inner child and you no longer seek validation from the outside world, you no longer give your power to any entity outside of you, you have just taken your power back from not only the perpetrator, but you've taken your power back from the entire world. And you will never again experience that traumatic event with another soul for the rest of this life, ever. Now, codependency, your ego, your drama queen, is comfortable for you. So, and it's taken many years for you to be codependent and to repeat that pattern over and over through many relationships. So you are going to have to constantly keep yourself in check. And what I've told clients is go on the internet and print off symptoms of codependency. Keep it with you and check yourself. Because the drama queen will like to slide you back into what's comfortable for you, even though it's traumatic, it is toxic, it is not healthy, but it's comfortable because that's what you've known for most of your life. It's something you have to work on every day. Let me give you an example of what unhealed codependency looks like. You've left the perpetrator or they've left you. You've healed, you've been on your healing journey. You've taken your power back, you're learning to love yourself. You are empowered. You feel amazing. You get in a new relationship. You feel like you're in a high vibration. You feel like you've done your healing. You get in a new relationship, and then the person is texting you, but there's a gap of period they haven't texted you. Well, this is where the drama queen slides in codependent patterns. You start to have obsessive thoughts. Oh my gosh, why haven't they texted me back? I bet they're thinking about someone else. I bet they went to visit their ex. I bet they're really not interested. They're playing mind games. So this is a trick of the drama queen to slide you back into what was comfortable, which was a toxic codependent pattern or cycle that you have relived over and over and over again. And this is why you have to stay on top of your healing game, because the drama queen will always take you back to that place where you know it best, being codependent. And I'll tell you the difference between being a healed version, an ex-codependent person, and still being codependent. So when you have truly healed, it is safe for you to get into a relationship. Because let me tell you something, you're standing in your power, you are loving yourself, you know the hell that you had to go through. You know you had to pick yourself up with no help from anyone but God. You were left for dead. But now you know what it's like to be independent. You have proved that you can live on your own. You can be by yourself. You can support yourself. You don't seek validation from anyone but yourself. You love who you are. You're in a high vibration. You meet someone. You allow them to come into your life. If they don't check off all the boxes, I'm sorry, this isn't going to work. Or you get in a relationship, you don't trust them, you walk away. You will never experience that trauma ever again as long as the power resides within you. The moment you give your power away to another person, you put yourself at risk. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to dwell on this a lot. As an empath that's codependent, you are a target for every narcissist on this planet. You're an easy target. You are loving, you are kind, you want to heal and fix the entire world, and you give your power away freely. So, you will know the difference. You will feel the difference because your power is unmatched. You will never, ever again experience that trauma. Ever, I promise you, if you do the healing work. Now, I'm going to go on to another part in the next discussion. It will be the emotions that come after this part. Just to let you know, it's going to talk about when the anger, bitterness, and resentment comes in, and why we need to work on that. So that'll be the next discussion. Like I said, the spirit guides will let me know when is the right time to post that next discussion. So I truly hope and pray, and I've set the intention that whoever needs to hear this discussion will find healing. It will assist them in their healing. And I love you all so very much. And I will post a reading for you guys. I love you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.